Hi, my name is Jeff. Once I loved Gucci. I had a shrine to Gucci in my room. Every night I prayed to Gucci and rubbed their shoes all over myself to turn me on. I was a Gucci sexual, of course. That was until I met the Melons and they showed me the light of Gucci's ways and how sickening they were. But enough of that. To understand this story, you must first understand who the Melons are. One day, I was walking down the street and saw an old Pokémon cartridge. Being a big Sega fan, I wanted to play the game on my Atari Jaguar and immerse myself with the 64-bit graphics engine comparable to that of the PS4. The name on the front was Origins of the Melons, so I thought to myself, how coincidental that I am holding a melon in my other hand. So I picked it up and walked home. When I got home, however, I noticed that my Atari Jaguar, the defining console standard, was missing. I was shocked and shit myself slightly as I realized that my house was missing and I was only left with the melon. With nothing better to do, I slammed the disc into the melon and I was transported to the world of the melons where I met Man. Hey, you look like this retarded kid I watched on a hentai show who thinks he can move his dick with his mind. Wow, man, fuck you. And then Man walked off. Although I followed him to the temple of the 4 melons. It turns out that Man was the guy I saw in that Chinese hentai shit, and the way to enter the temple of the 4 melons was to violently masturbate until melon juice comes out. But I wasn't a melon, so I had to follow him quickly before he shut the door. Get the fuck out of my house! No, tell me who you are. My name is Man, and I am the Melon Lord. Tell me more. Is this not just blatant exposition? I sighed out loud and explained that I didn't give a fuck. And if he didn't explain where I was, then I would dropkick him in the nearest Cheeky Nando's. Okay, one day there was only watermelons, but I came along and fucked the ecosystem to the point where there were fire melons, air melons, and earth melons. The other 3 tasted like shit, with air melons not even existing, but whatever. And now I pass the power on to you so you will leave my home. Wow, that's insane. Yeah, now get the fuck out. I left Mang's house and slowly realized that I was in the real world. The door must have transported me back into our reality. That, or my acid trip wore off, but either way I walked down the high street with my melon still in hand. And because I was so hyped to express my power, I walked into the nearest bank and threw my melon at the counter, and the melon exploded into small chunks of melon that saturated all of the money. I cheered gleefully as I ran off to find a prostitute to beat up. But I passed a new restaurant being opened that day run by Gucci's, the overly expensive designer brand. I launched my sleuth through the window, even though the door was wide open because I was the melon lord. So I didn't give a fuck, and I looked at the menu. Its most popular choice was fuck nuggets. So I asked what it was, and the bitch at the counter looked at me and said, "Oh, so you think just because I am a woman means that I know what fuck nuggets are? You want to fuck me now, huh? Women's rights, people. You are just like everybody else." I cut her off. "I don't care. I'm the melon lord," I said as I slapped her and walked around the side to grab the nearest melon to slam into her head for my Snapchat story. I couldn't find any evidence of what fuck nuggets were, apart from a room named Fuck Nuggets Fucking Room, though I reluctantly checked, and I realized what they were. Now this is edgy as fuck, so if you're a pizza pussy, then don't read this next part, you might die on the spot. There were live chickens, and they were being forced into the 69 position, and then deep fried alive, to be cut up into small pieces, and then dipped in high concentrate liquid nicotine, because why not, to be sold fresh. I saw the hyper-realistic anime eyes look at me, and I even heard one say, "Melon Lord, save us." And I knew what I had to do. I took a bucket of the oil that was burning. I know this because I tried to drink some of it because I was thirsty, and I poured it on that semi-conscious woman from earlier while she was recovering from the melon attack, only because I had a grudge on her and I saw someone posting Instagram pictures of it. So I thought I should make it more interesting naturally. The girl who was taking Instagram pictures noticed me because I was her senpai, So we went in the back room and fucked until my melon juice came out, and then I walked out and slapped a child while I passed because he looked at me funny. A week later the Gucci restaurant was shut down, and I was watching Nesquik and chilling with my sister when the police knocked on the door. But I was prepared. I grew watermelons because they were the strongest, and I crushed the police's skulls with the melons as they were hard and not fully ripe. And I roared because on all levels except physical I am a melon. And that is the story of how I became the Melon Lord, and how I battled Gucci's for being sickening fucks and shit.